all about seeking His face. So I'm seeking His face. I won't be envious against the wicked because I serve Yah. You can boast about your money while I boast about my Yah. Elohim is king. I'm forever bow down at His goodness and Christ is the truth. And tell me why my people under curses. My people praying to the same God of their enemy. Just cause we don't hang on trees don't mean that they a friend of me. Walking in integrity, praying to my heavenly. If you wanna make it to the end, I got the recipe. You wanna love Yahweh Elohim. If you ain't about this righteousness, you can't ride with my team. I'm a law reaping, making the difference between the clean and the unclean. Yeah, I gotta do my thing. I can't handle fools around me now. Tyler told me that fools will get you killed. Ariel told me that. Must control your spirit. Israel told me that. Serve no other gods. Elisha told me that. Oh, so seek His righteous burdens. He will surely hear you when you call. Blesses the man who puts all his trust in Yahweh Elohim. Curses the man who is evil. I can't stand a wicked man. Serving Yahweh is my joy. Proverbs are my closest friend. I look unto all my fathers, Jacob, Isaac, Abraham. Surely He scorned the scorners, but give grace unto the lowly. I want to be holy. I fear Yahweh, the only Savior. Keep it good. I love my brother, honor Mama Dukes, and we yell hallelujah. Yahweh with my truth. Yes, they know why we keep the law. Helping now He teach the law. Genesis through Malachi, so you know we got a ball. Going against all the odds. Wisdom is the principle. Make the wise the simple, though the law of Yah convert the soul. This is not a fairy tale, but Christ He is a fairy tale. The law of Yah will save your life. Free yourself out of jail. Free yourself out of hell. Free yourself from the pain. All those that wait on Yahweh shall not be ashamed. Oh, so seek His righteous burdens. He will surely hear you when you call. Saturday is a sign. I put a sign on my hand. I read His laws every day. I follow all His commands. I talk with them when I sit. I talk with them when I rise. I talk with them when I walk. I talk with them when I lie down. Praise Yah Elohim because He's true. Plus His laws are the truth. I thought that you knew that there ain't no other God beside Him. He did it alone. Talking about the heavens where He was. He sits on the throne of goodness. Who measured the heavens with a span? Comprehended the dust. Split the oceans with His hand. Look, He dead, feet, He blind. Open up your mind. If you put your trust in Yah, everything will be fine. Remember Yahweh in His power. We boast in His name. Each and every hour, sunrise down to the same. The wicked is an abomination. Don't come our way. The wicked Yah will make the selection. Don't come our way. Seek His righteous burdens. He will surely hear you when you call.
Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters all over the world. I'm Yahudah ben Israel. I'm a Hebrew servant of the Most High Yahweh. And I came here to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. In today's topic, I want to talk about the age of the patriarchs and the Hebrews of the Old Testament. How old did they live? I want to talk about the prophets and the women and men that they live to get an old age in the Old Testament. So I'm dealing with age today. So I'm going to start off in Genesis. Let's go to Genesis 5 and 5.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 5. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died.
Okay, Adam lived 930 years and died. Okay, let's go to Genesis 5 and 8.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 8. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died.
Okay, Seth lived 912 years, and he died. Okay, let's go to Genesis 5 and 11.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 11. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died.
He lived 905 years and died. Okay, let's go to Genesis 5 and 14.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 14. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died.
And he died. Okay. Did I read that 9, 5, and 7? No, I didn't read 5 and 11 there. Genesis 5:11. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 11. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died.
Okay, he lived 905 years and died. Okay, let's go to Genesis 5:14. Yeah.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 14. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died.
910 years and he died. Back in the biblical days, we lived a long, long time. That's when there was righteousness on earth. Okay, let's go. Let's go to Genesis 5:17.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 17. And all the days of Mahalaleel were 895 years, and he died.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to Genesis 5:20.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 20. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died.
He lived 962 years and died. Okay. Genesis 5:27. Now, that's the oldest man that ever lived in the Bible.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 27. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died.
Now, Methuselah was the oldest man that ever lived in the Bible. He was 969 years old when he passed away. Okay, let's go to Genesis 5:31.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 31. And all the days of Leviticus were 777 years, and he died.
He was 770 years when he died. Okay, let's go. Let's see how old Noah was. 900. Let's go to Genesis 9:29.
Genesis chapter 9, verse 29. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died.
Okay, Noah was 950 years old when he died. Okay, let's go to see how old Abraham's father was. Genesis 11 and I think 11 and 32.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 32. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran.
Okay, now Terah was Abraham's father. He was 205 years old when he died, and he was an idolater. He was a wicked guy. So he lived a long time even though he was wicked. Okay, let's read Genesis 23. Let's go. There's several here. I'll see. Okay, so Genesis 23, 2 through 20.
Genesis chapter 23, verse 2. And Sarah died in Kirjath Arbar. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan.
No, back up to 1. I forgot. I should have started at 1. Genesis 23 and 1.
Genesis chapter 23, verse 1. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah.
Okay, Sarah was 127 years old when she died. That was Abraham's wife.
And Sarah died in Kirjath Arbar, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my master, thou art a mighty prince among us, and the choice of our psalteries. Bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee this psaltery, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat for me to Ephron the son of Zohar.
See, we buried our people. We didn't have no cremation. What's that when you burn somebody up? That's called,
Cremation.
yeah, cremation. Yeah, we didn't have no we didn't burn our people. We weren't cremated or nothing like that, like they do today. They cremate you because it's cheaper, $500-600 to get you on out the way, so they can keep all the insurance money. But we didn't do that back then. We buried our people. We didn't have no cremation. Well, no such thing was that, and that's a sin. And don't forget to show you in the Bible that it's a sin to cremate a body. We ain't supposed to do that. Don't let me forget to do that. Read.
That he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it me for a possession of a burying place amongst you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham and the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of the city, saying, Nay, my master, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein I give it thee, and the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee. Bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land, and he spake unto Ephron and the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there.
See, we bought land to bury our dead. We didn't cremate nobody. That's a sin to be cremated. Read.
And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My master, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron. And Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant, and the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre the field, and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan.
Now you notice Abraham buried his wife Sarah. He didn't cremate her. He buried her. We supposed to be buried and not cremated. Read.
And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth.
Okay, go to Genesis 25:1.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 1. Then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bare him Zimram, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. And Jokshan begat Sheba, and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Asherim, and Lutashem, and Lumamim. And the sons of Midian were Ephah, and Epher, and Hanoch, and Abda, and Eldah. All these were the children of Keturah. Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 100 years. Then Abraham gave up the ghost, and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people.
Now Abraham lived 175 years old in a good old age, and he was gathered to his people. Okay, let's go to Genesis 35. Genesis 35, 20 to 29.
Genesis chapter 35, verse 28. And the days of Isaac were 180 years, And Isaac gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him.
Okay, what was that? What was that? That was 35, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 35. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Ash was 180. Yeah, 180. Isaac was 180 years old because each score represent 20. So that was, both scores is 20. So he was 180 and he died. So Abraham was 175, Isaac was 180. Now let's go see how old Jacob was. Genesis 47. Genesis 47. Genesis 47 and 28, 31.
Genesis chapter 47, verse 28. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. And he called his son Joseph and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt, but I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he swore unto him. And Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head.
Okay, so now we still burying our people. We was not cremated. None of this junk that these heathens got us doing today. We wasn't doing that. Okay, and he was 147 years old when he died. Jacob. Okay, Deuteronomy 34. Let's go check out Moses. Okay, Deuteronomy 34, 5 through 12. Let's see here.
Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 5. So Moses, the servant of Yahweh, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of Yahweh, and he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day.
Okay, Yahweh buried Moses. That's what happened to Moses. Moses was buried by Yahweh. He wasn't cremated. Well, nobody in the Old Testament cremated. It was only buried. Read.
And Moses was 120 years old when he died.
And Moses was 120 years old when he died.
But his eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated.
That means right there, his eye was not dim. He could see real good, and he would still be able to have sex. He had an erection. He still was been able to have sex, and he could see real good. That's what that's saying. Read.
And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended. And Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands upon him. And the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as Yahweh commanded Moses. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom Yahweh knew face to face.
See, Moses was one of a kind. One of a kind. JC didn't have nothing on Moses. Read.
And all the signs and the wonders which Yahweh sent him to do in the land of Egypt, to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land, and all that mighty hand, and all the great terror which Moses showed in the sight of all Israel.
Okay, now let's go to Numbers. Let's see what how old was Moses' brother Aaron. Numbers, I think. Let me see, 33. Okay. Yeah, Numbers 33, 30 and 39.
Numbers chapter 33, verse 30.
No, verse 38 and 39. 33 chapter and 38, 39 verse.
Okay. Numbers chapter 33, verse 38. And Aaron the priest went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of Yahweh, and died there. And the 40th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, and the first day of the 5th month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor.
Okay, now Aaron, which was Moses' brother, was 123 years old when he died. See, he outlived Moses by 3 years. Okay, now let's go to the book of Joshua. Joshua. Let's see how old Joshua was. Okay, look at Joshua. 14. Okay, 24 and 14.
Joshua chapter 24, verse 14. Now therefore fear Yahweh, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt.
Put away JC in this day and time. The same gods we do, same thing we doing today, they did then. So put away JC, read,
And serve ye Yahweh.
and serve Yahweh.
And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom ye will serve.
Now choose this day, do you going to serve Yahweh or you going to serve JC? You can't serve both of them now, read.
Or the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell.
And see, we the gods of the Gentile, which the land we dwell, same right now today. Read.
But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh.
And as for me and my house, we're going to serve Yah. There you go.
And the people answered and said, Elohim forbid that we should forsake Yahweh to serve other gods. For Yahweh our Elohim, He it is that brought us up and our fathers out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, and which did those great signs in our sight.
Now show me in the book where JC delivered us, the children of Israel, from anywhere. Where he picked us up out of anywhere. The JC, he didn't never do that. Read.
And preserved us in all the way wherein we went, and among all the people through whom we passed. And Yahweh drave out from before us all the people, even the Amorites which dwell in the land. Therefore will we also serve Yahweh, for he is our Elohim.
That's right.
And Joshua said unto the people, Ye cannot serve Yahweh, for he is an holy Elohim. He is a jealous Elohim. He will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins.
In other words, to serve Yahweh, you got to be 100. You can't be playing games, straddling the fence, and faking and perpetrating fraud. Read.
If you forsake Yahweh and serve strange gods, then he will turn and do you hurt and consume you.
And that's the reason why he doing us hurt and consuming us, because we done turned our back on him. The same thing way back 1,000 years ago, we still doing it today. Read.
After that he have done you good.
And every time he do us good, we turn our back on him.
And the people said unto Joshua, Nay, but we will serve Yahweh. And Joshua said unto the people, Ye are witnesses against yourselves that ye have chosen you, Yahweh, to serve him. And they said, We are witnesses. Now therefore put away, said he, the strange gods which are among you,
Get them pictures and statues and crosses off your wall and out your car and out your pocket.
and incline your heart unto Yahweh Elohim of Israel.
And turn to Yahweh.
And the people said unto Joshua, Yahweh our Elohim will we serve, and his voice will we obey. So Joshua made a covenant with the people that day, and set them a statute and ordinance in Shechem. And Joshua wrote these words in the book of the law of Elohim, and took a great stone, and set it up there under an oak that was by the sanctuary of Yahweh. And Joshua said unto all the people, Behold, this stone shall be a witness unto us, for it hath heard all the words of Yahweh which he spake unto us. It shall be therefore a witness unto you, lest ye deny your Elohim. So Joshua let the people depart, every man unto his inheritance. And it came to pass after these things, that Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Yahweh, died, being 110 years old.
Okay, yeah, Joshua was 110 years old when he died.
And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath-Serah, which is in Mount Ephraim.
Now they buried him. They didn't cremate him. They buried him. Everywhere all through this book, we was buried, not cremated. So everybody that's out there cremating people, you need to stop it because that's a sin. Y'all ain't with no cremation. Yeah, we buried our people, like I said. Okay, what was yeah, you can go and finish reading.
On the north side of the hill of Gaash. And Israel served Yahweh all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders that overlived Joshua, and which had known all the works of Yahweh that he had done for Israel. And the bones of Joseph, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, buried they in Shechem, and a parcel of ground which Jacob bought of the sons of Hamor.
You notice that he brought the bones of Joseph, not the ashes. Bones, no ashes. Read.
The father of Shechem for 100 pieces of silver, and it became the inheritance of the children of Joseph. And Eleazar, the son of Aaron, died, and they buried him in a hill that pertained to Phinehas his son, which was given him in Mount Ephraim.
Okay, we was buried now, but wasn't nobody cremated. Okay, go to 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel 4, chapter 4, 15, 18.
1 Samuel chapter 4, verse 15. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim, that he could not see. And the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I fled today out of the army. And he said, What is there done, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel has fled before the Philistines, and there have been also a great slaughter among the people. And thy two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of Elohim is taken. And it came to pass, when he made mention of the ark of Elohim, that he fell from off the seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck brake, and he died. For he was an old man and heavy, and he judged Israel 40 years. And his daughter-in-law.
Okay, that's all. Yeah, when he died. Okay, that was Eli. Okay, go to 2 Samuel. Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 12, start the 14th verse.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 14. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of Yahweh to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. And Nathan departed unto his house, and Yahweh struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought Elohim for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth. And the elders of his house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead, for they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead?
Okay, in other words, it was the youngest person in the Bible that I ever read about that died. King David had sinned against Yahweh, and Yahweh struck the child down at 7 days old. He was 7 days old when he died. So that was the youngest child a person in the Bible that I read about that only lived 7 days. Okay, now let's go to First Chronicles. Verse 29. First Chronicles 29. Let's see. 26 through 28. Let's see what it says about David, King David. Okay.
First Chronicles chapter 29, verse 26. Thus David the son of Jesse reigned over all Israel. And the time that he reigned over Israel was 40 years. 7 years reigned he in Hebron, and 33 years reigned he in Jerusalem. And he died in a good old age, full of days.
Now King David died in a good old full of days and a good old age. So he got old. It didn't say how old he was when he died, but we know that he got old. That's what the book say. Read.
Full of days, riches, and honor. And Solomon his son reigned in his stead.
And after he died, his son Solomon reigned in his stead. That's all I want. Okay, let's go to Job. Yeah, Job 42 and 10.
Job chapter 42, verse 10. And Yahweh turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also Yahweh gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then came there unto him all his brethren, and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house. And they bemoaned him, and comforted him over all the evil that Yahweh had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one an earring of gold. So Yahweh blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, and 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first Jim, and the name of the second Keziah, and the name of the third Karan-Hakpuk. And all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. After this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations. So Job died, being old and full of days.
He was old and full of days like David and the rest of them. So Job lived to get 140 years old. Okay. Now, I want to talk about the kings. See, we had young kings. We grew up fast and stuff. So I'm gonna prove that our kings was little boys and coming up. Second Chronicles. Let me go back to that. Yeah. Second Chronicles 24. Let's start it there. Okay. Second Chronicles 24, 1 through 3.
Second Chronicles chapter 24, verse 1. Joash was 7 years old when he began to reign.
Now Joash was 7 years old when he began to become a king. We was young at this time. Read.
And he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Zebiah of Beersheba.
Okay, that's all I wanted. Want to prove that Joash was 7 years old when he took off, when he got off the porch. Okay, go to Second Chronicles 25. I think he was the youngest, if I ain't mistaken. He was the youngest king we ever had. Okay, yeah, 25 and 1 and 2.
Second Chronicles chapter 25, verse 1. And Manasseh was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jehoadan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, but not with a perfect heart.
Okay, he did right. Okay, go to 2 Chronicles 28:1.
2 Chronicles chapter 28, verse 1. And Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. But he did not that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, like David his father.
Okay, that's all I want. Let's go to 33:1, 2 Chronicles. 33. Okay.
2 Chronicles chapter 33, verse 1. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem.
Now Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, when he became a king. Okay, 2 Chronicles 34:1.
2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 1. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 130 years.
Okay, Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign. Okay, what I supposed to be improving? Something else I supposed to be about the about the cremation, I think. Yeah. Okay, let me I think that's in Leviticus. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go to Leviticus 18. Okay, I think it's Leviticus 18:21.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 21. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire of false deity, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy Elohim. I am Yahweh.
Okay, Molech. The word is Molech. You ain't supposed to do what Molech did because they cremated their people. So we ain't supposed to do that. So that's a sin to cremate your people. So I just want to get this point across about we buried our people. We didn't have no cremation or none of that, and we lived and got old, and we had young kings. So when you go to the New Testament, ain't none of this information is in the New Testament about what I just read today. So I just wanted to prove a point about the age we lived a long time and stuff like that. So I'm gonna close out, and I'm gonna give all honor and glory and praise and worship to Yahweh by saying hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Shalom.